All right, everybody, welcome back. It's Hop from Hop Smell Show. This episode, I'm going to bring you some Judas Priest. So how this idea all come about was Judas Priest just released a new album, and I was talking with some friends of mine, and we was talking about what era of Priest we liked, and what albums we liked and disliked. And I've never been a huge Judas Priest fan. I'm just more probably a Fairweather Judas Priest fan. Only knew the hits and had a few of the albums from the 80s, but that's about it. But I decided I was going to do a show on Judas Priest, and I was going to do all eras of Judas Priest, and hoping that people would comment and tell me what they thought. And this is just my complete opinion on my thoughts listening to Priest, but I decided to take a deep dive into their archive, and I went from, looks like Rock and Rolla from 74, planning on doing all the way up to the newest album, which I think it's called Invincible Shield. But I figured I'd go, I'm going to start this will be part one, and I'm going to do the 70s era Priest on this episode, which will include, looks like 5 albums. And I've listened to albums all the way through, and I'm going to give a little rundown on each album, what I thought of each album. And like I said, leave comments on what you think of Priest in the 70s era in the comment below, and what you think of Priest in general, how you feel about Priest and all this stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and start on this 70s era of Priest. So y'all sit back and enjoy. All right, so coming in 1974 was the album Rock-a-Rolla. It was produced by Roger Bain. In case anybody's wondering who Roger Bain was, he was the person who done the first 3 Black Sabbath albums. So, Black Sabbath was huge then, so getting the producer for the first 3 Black Sabbath albums couldn't be a bad thing. But so I decided to give the record a spin, or the album a spin, and I don't know, I wasn't overly impressed with it. Probably my favorite song off the album was Rock-a-Rolla. Good 70s song, kind of rocking. But the rest of the album, I wasn't really in love with the rest of the album. I will say the entire album was recorded live in the studio, which I did read that. And it's very different from the Priest we know and love now. And it was released on Gold Records. So some of that stuff, it's not real hard to find. I mean, but you probably got to dig a little bit to get the first 2. But y'all check it out and see what y'all thought. So number 2, this come out in 1976. This is Sad Wings of Destiny. And the producer is Jeffrey Colvert and Max West. And some of the stick-out songs off there were The Ripper, Deceiver, Islands of Damnation. Some of the better songs on there. It still sounds very 70s. Some of it's even a little trippy. But I did see where this is the first album that Tipton played piano on. So and the guitars, you're starting to really hear the guitars. The dual guitars are starting to wake up a little bit. Something that they become very signature for down the road. And this is on Gold Records also. So check that out. I know I did do a thing, and there was some people from the Hop Smell Show group that said this is some of their favorite 70s Judas Priest. So maybe this is your album, Sad Wings of Destiny. So we're going to the next album, which came out in 1977. This is Sin After Sin. And it's produced by Roger Glover, which is, in case you don't know, he's a Deep Purple bass player. Some of the stick out songs on here are Sinner and Diamonds and Rust, which is a cover tune. And you can really hear the growth of the band on this album. I mean, you can really start to hear Judas Priest as the Priest that we eventually become huge fans of. And this like I said, this is the best album so far. Then for best album so far, and you're starting to hear the dueling guitars. So if you're a dueling guitar fan of, that's your draw on Priest, go back and check this out, because this is where it all started. And then looks like this is when they switched to CBS Records. So stuff's getting ready to change, and the growth is getting, they're growing and growing and growing. So they're getting bigger and getting more into the sound that we always loved of Priest. So then the next album, which is fourth album, came out in 1978. It's called Stained Glass, which I own this on disc. And this is probably one of the few that I have. It's produced by Dennis McKay. And if you're wondering who Dennis McKay is, he produced David Bowie and Supertramp. So, I mean, they're getting good producers, which is good. Because that helps your sound get better, and they help you write songs and all the stuff that producers do. And it sounds like a David Bowie Supertramp produced album. And so stick out songs I put down were Exciter and Beyond the Realms of Death and Better by You, Better Than Me, which was a cover tune, which everybody probably knows was the Suicide song, meaning that in 1990 a civil case was brought against the band because of an incident of suicide where two boys claimed that this song made them suicidal, so they made a pact to commit suicide to this song. And during 1990 is when Judas Priest was going through all that, and we'll talk more about that probably when we get to that era of Judas Priest. But in case you didn't know, that was Better by You, Better Than Me was a song they went to trial over. And like I said, it's probably the earliest Judas Priest album I own, which looks like I'm going to go back and get probably Sin After Sin, because I really enjoyed that album too. It was really good. So, we'll go with the fifth album that Judas Priest done, came out in 1979, called Killing Machine. But others may know it as Hellbent for Leather, and the reason the name change was because of a school shooting, afraid it would hurt sales if they didn't change the name of the album. And I think, if I remember right, the shooting was in Cleveland around this time. And some of the stick out songs on here is stuff that really everybody's starting to remember by them, is Delivering the Goods and Hellbent for Leather. And there's a song called Take on the World, which reminded me of an anthem. When I listened to it, it reminded me of Queen's We Will Rock You. And I guess they was going for the anthem thing. That must have been a big thing right then. But and also I have Burning Up as also another song. And the 70s Priest is a little different, but really, if you've never listened to that stuff, you should go back and check it out. It's interesting to see where they started from and where they've came to. And if you're like me, a fair weather Judas Priest fan, you really should go back and check out the history on Judas Priest, because it's a band that's been around a long time, and I put them up there with the rankings of Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden. They have a great history. They've sold a lot of albums and made a lot of good music over the years, and still making good music to this day. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was good. If you got any questions, leave it down in the comments section down below. If you got any ideas or any other band that you'd be interested in hearing history from, just let me know. You can leave that down in the comments section also. So this is part 1. It looks like this is probably gonna be about a 3-part series. So next we're gonna be doing the 80s, which, man, I listen to the 80s Priest, and the 80s Priest is pretty fucking rocking. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think there's even a Desert Island album that come out in the 80s that Priest was behind. But yeah, they got a lot of good stuff in the 80s. But and I guess till next time, hope y'all enjoyed this. Comment section what you thought about it and your thoughts and everything on the show and all that stuff. I guess we're gonna roll on out of here. Y'all go listen to some Priest, 70s Judas Priest. Check it out. Till the next time, see ya. Peace.